right, that's all the time we have for today, Sunrisers. But if you missed anything or you just want to rewatch your favorite segments, we've got you covered at cvmtv.com. And for all the fun stuff in between, we're on Instagram at SunriseCVM or at CVM_television.
All right, it's now time for a very lovely piece from the JCDC to take us out. Over to you.
Time when I was alone, nowhere to go and no place to call home. My only friend was the man in the moon, and even sometimes he would go away too. Then one night as I closed my eyes, I saw a shadow flying high. He came to me with the sweetest smile, told me he wanted to talk for a while. He said, Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. And ever since that day, I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out with Peter Pan. And when we're bored, we play in the woods, always on the run from Captain Hook. Run, run, lost boy, they say to me, away from all of reality. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free. He sprinkled me in pixie dust and told me to believe in him and believe in me. Together we will fly away in a cloud of green to your beautiful destiny. As we soared above the town that never loved me, I realized I finally had a family. Soon enough we reached Neverland. Peacefully my feet hit the sand, and ever since that day, I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out with Peter Pan. And when we're bored, we play in the woods, always on the run from Captain Hook. Run, run, lost boy, they say to me, away from all of reality.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to the round table. I am Barbie, and joining me at the table this morning is my amazing co-host, Celine. Good morning, Celine. Wagwan. Wagwan, wagwan. And good morning, TK. Tom, I was amazing too. Very well. No, listen. Amazing no, too. You are very, very special. Okay. Right? Our special guest, TK. And listen, sitting right beside her is, without a doubt, hands down, my favorite guy. Oh. He knows this. I say it all the time. Good morning, John Mark. Grammy Award winning to be John Mark. Welcome to the table. Your man asked me, I tell him I'm going to keep it. What I tell you, I'm going to host your Grammy watch party.
Amen.
I am going to host John Mark's Grammy watch party. Remember, I said that here today. John Mark.
You heard it here.
Yes, you heard it here first. Good morning. Welcome to the table.
It's a pleasure being here. Yes. Trust me.
It's a pleasure having you both, TK. Wow, you're always just a glow. Remember tell us you glow on TV?
What can I say, you know?
Yes, whenever you're on the screen, like there's just this nice
There's a glow. See there, the glow.
Look at the glow, yes, the glow, absolutely. Celine, what?
Good.
You look good. You and John Mark, by the way, are doing an amazing job with Holy Road. Yes,
thank you so much. Here.
I have to big you guys up for that. It's captivating. It's entertaining all the way through.
And educational.
Yes,
as it should be, right?
You're doing a great job. I cannot say any more about it. Trust me. If I say any bit more, then it going blow up all over the place like it already is. So guess what? It's now time to check out what is actually buzzing in our social buzz online. Check this out. the man could dance until we did the Sea Tapping tour. Remember? And him just bust out a dance on stage.
Which dance? The one dance.
When you say
he can dance, what exactly are you referring to?
He can do the one dance. So he can technically dance. It's like if you can sing one song and you sing it good, you can sing technically.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
So John Mark, I have a song I'd like to sing. You want to hear it?
Yeah, run it on.
No, I'm not do that. You know.
Play with me, man.
They won't. By the way, they will not let me on the worship team at church. Please comment in the comments. Let Barbie sing.
No,
Okay.
She's too busy.
Let Barbie sing.
She's not going to
Free
show
up
up on
Barbie,
time.
man.
Yeah.
Barbie sing.
So listen, it is now time for a bag of tea.
Ooh.
I have a bag of things this morning, and these are dolls from Island Dolls here in Jamaica. These are made in Jamaica. These particular dolls were made by Island Dolls. Beverly Robotham, I have to big her up, right? But these were actually made for the Jamaica 60 anniversary, and they never actually quite made it to the shelves. But I have these that she gave, she actually did them, and I thought they were absolutely so beautiful.
They
just
are
the
stunning.
detail of the dolls. You can look at this one, look inside of our basket. You have things in the basket, right? And the dress, the detailing on it is just so amazing.
And it has nuggets of information, of course, about independence and Jamaica. This really is lovely.
Yes, I love them.
I love your bag of things this morning.
And there's actually 2 more that go with this set, but of course they couldn't all fit in the bag, so I only brought the 4. But there are 2 more ladies that actually go with this set. One has dreadlocks, and so it's just this is my.
So
bag
are there
of
no
things.
Kens? Are there no Kens in this bag?
No, no Ken, no in this. And she actually does another doll that's like a puffy body doll that I love. Yeah.
Okay,
So I love. No, listen. There's no Ken in this line right here. So this.
Okay.
This is Team Barbie over here.
So
Team Barbie.
Like, I don't know what is in this basket. Well, what's in the basket is
Ackee, yam.
Right, so those things can cook because there is something hot coming in for us right now. I see it coming. I see something hot coming. Abby, you want my dolls? You want the dollies? You can have them. Take them, right? Take very good care of them. Take the bag, guys, them home for right now, right? So, our topic this morning is balancing act, navigating the use of secular elements to attract youth to the church. John Mark, I am opening with you first. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm opening with you first. You recently did an album launch. Yeah. And I think that there is a really great balance of music and the different genres that the way that you use music is absolutely, it's heavenly. It's amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And so I want to just throw it to you first. How do you navigate that space with using what people would consider secular? Yeah. But it's not secular for you. You're praising God. Yeah. How do you balance that? How do you even choose to do these things?
True. I love the question, and you started it off by saying how people view it as secular. I think it's easy to identify what is sacred. Knowing that it's developed and derived from church is like, all right, that should be absolutely sacred, and sometimes it's actually not. And so the same over in the secular. You would think that it's secular because it became popular outside of the church, when sometimes you have to ask the question, well, who created it? Who was behind the original thing? Before this bust out outside in the public's domain, who created it? Oftentimes you'd find that it's a Christian person created the beat and then kind of something there. Say, well, this thing was ours to begin with. Yes. You know what I mean? And so the discussion is around, well, how can I use this? Is it pure? Is it of good intention? Can I think about it? Is it virtuous? Can it be praiseworthy? And if those things are true, then I can use it.
Yes.
I love that.
If those things are true.
Yeah, he has one on a rhythm that people would identify as a Dexter-Daps rhythm. It is, but the song, I send that song to a lot of the young girls that I mentor. Yeah. And I remember I sent it to one of them and she called me crying. Jeez. She called me in tears. She said, Auntie Barbie, where did you get this song from? I said, it's one of John Mark's songs. She was like, oh my goodness.
So it ministered to her.
Absolutely, it ministered to her, 100%. TK.
You know, I have a challenge. I know that young people, most churches want to attract young people because, of course, if you have an older congregation, then you're not growing. You kind of need more youth. And I find that what is appealing to the youth is not necessarily happening in church, and clearly.
Yes.
So, like, young people love dancehall. Young people love sexy clothes. Young people love the trends that's happening. Young people love the, you know, movies that are not necessarily the most decent. And I don't know, I often wonder if churches are so pure and proper and everything is so, you know, I can understand why young people may not be attracted to that. It's not fun, it's not cool. Lord, I have to go to church, but it's boring. You know what I mean? And so I often ask the question then, how does one handle that?
No, well, if I may, you may answer. Well, you know, TK, I find that you talk about the things that young people like, but that's a mindset. So it's a mindset that has been introduced to them, and they went along with it. And so introducing another mindset, introducing another way is a way, I think, that would bring young people into gospel or into the pure things that we're talking about. So I think the problem I'm having is when we classify elements as being secular.
Yes.
Because, you know, are we talking about the Instagrams and the Facebooks and the platform and what made it secular?
Right. So I'm gonna throw to so Bishop Peter Morgan is my bishop. He's my pastor's bishop. I'm my pastor's father. But Bishop Peter Morgan says, and I'm going to try and get this correct, Bishop. He says that every generation demands an expression of the Church of Jesus Christ relevant to its time.
Absolutely.
And I agree with that.
Yes, and the churches that we see today, a lot of the churches that we see today they came out of what we call the charismatic movement that happened in Jamaica. And Bishop Peter Morgan, Reverend Al Miller, a lot of these pastors that have have churches nowadays that young people are drawn to, their churches were born through that charismatic movement. And when they stepped out to do what they're doing, which was to go outside of the walls of the church to minister, churches told their congregants, do not go to them, and if you go, you cannot come back here. They were literally like told not, they were kicked out of it. But their generation demanded an expression of the church that was relevant to them. And I think that's what we see that happens a lot in the church.
But if I may add a little to that history, I think I remember that it was Peter Morgan who would have started the movement of walking outside of the church with a cross.
Yes.
And preaching the gospel in the streets.
In the streets.
And it was that was, you know, really very outlandish to the Christian community at the time.
Because there was no church outside of the walls.
Right, and who's talking, you know, in the streets like that? Like,
so who are you speaking to? You know, dance like David did.
But then what happens to the older generation then? So if, this new generation demands this Jesus that appeals to them, but you still have the older generation in the church who thinks that this is how church should be, this is what I'm accustomed to, this is how we want to keep it, this is the traditions that we're staying with. How do you reconcile having that community and the young community in the same church to receive the word at the same time?
So I'm going to throw to you, John Mark, to answer that for TK, but I'm going to just share this with you because I did this topic last night. I spoke to, I called Pastor Charlene. Right? I called Pastor Charlene, and one of the things she said is there is a lot of value to the order and structure of traditional church practices. However, those practices cannot be more valuable than the lives or souls that we're trying to reach.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, when I think about it, I actually like scrutiny. I love when older folks are trying to see if this product is good, if it is trustworthy. I like that. I don't like when it's grabbed up like just off the bat, because that tells me that there is no firewall up, there's no protection up. And they're not trying to make sure that what they're giving their youth is actually palatable and good for them. So I like that scrutiny, and that scrutiny tells me that there's protection and they're trying to make sure that what's coming in is good. So I say we always wait a little bit to try the spirit of the thing, try the fruit of the thing. Does it have fruit?
Yes.
Or what parts of this is actually good? Before I burn the whole thing in fire, let me check the parts that are good and let me package that and give it to the youth, right? Because I can't take the whole thing and say, I want you guys to come, so take what you guys want and come in. Because we have to understand, you know, our flesh is at enmity with God. Whether young or old, our flesh actually doesn't want what he wants. So is it boring or is it actually holy? Let's check, let's make sure it's not just boring, and let's make sure that it's actually wholesome. Is it wholesome? Now, how can we make what's wholesome entertaining?
Exciting.
Exciting. I love that. Yeah.
Celine, dancehall music, reggae music, right? I believe reggae music is God's music, right? But dancehall music, reggae music in the church now, we're seeing a lot of dancehall artists, or we've always seen dancehall artists who have done gospel dancehall. What are your thoughts where that is concerned, and how some people may even say this does not belong in the church?
So as you know, Barbie, I absolutely love dancehall, right? Dancehall is my genre. It really is. And so my thing is, I understand the word to be what is the power and what is
really good.
And what is really the thing that is the fight.
Right.
Yeah.
So what comes out of your mouth is important.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And then of course you have rhythms that will always remind you of the word that was spoken. So I see where people have issue with a song if it's being put on a particular dancehall rhythm because it takes them back
to there.
to somewhere that for them,
Them a run from this
yes,
one.
it's very unholy. But it's like anything else. If you used to drink a lot and you're now out of that sobriety, you don't want to go back there.
You don't want to see a glass.
You don't want to even see a glass. So you go to church and see communion with wine and bread, and you're like, wait.
You trigger them?
It triggered. No, let me tell you, and it very well may. So you know, it is really the fundamentals of the word, and keeping that very clear, that line of demarcation of the holy word and something else that is being spoken.
Yes. Go ahead, TK. Say it, TK.
I hear what you guys are saying, and you know, John Mark, you put it as, you know, the older generation protects the space, and I get that. But there's the line between protecting and prohibiting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so there is, let me protect it, let me make sure that, and so they're open to at least exploring if this is something that is for the church. And then there is no.
Lick out.
There is absolutely not.
Lick
if it's
out.
on a dancehall rhythm, I don't care the words, I don't care the message, I don't care anything that is inappropriate, and it is not to be in the church.
Wow.
And so the question, and there are a lot of spaces like that that are not open to that. And so is it being protected, or
prohibited.
is it being prohibited?
I feel like sometimes I have to give those people time.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I mean?
listen, I want to explore that a little bit more because you made a very, very, very relevant point, TK. So we are going to actually take a break, and we have more roundtable coming up for you after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Time flies when good things are happening, but guess what? You know what time it is. Unfortunately, it is time for our final thoughts. But just before the break, TK made a very relevant point where you spoke about is it protecting or prohibiting? And John Mark, you wanted to add in on that.
Yeah, there are some spaces that are completely prohibited. I think it's safe to say give them time and partake in it where you can, how you can. There are spaces that endorse it, and you can, you know, get fed there with the type of music and so on that you need. But you can't really punish them. You can't really punish them. They need time to see the fruit of it. That happened when DJ Nicholas them did come out. A lot of different people needed time to see, are people actually being saved on this?
Yes.
And does it look appropriate? Are souls being won? And when the fruit of that was shown, then them say, all right, come we squeeze it in. But it don't take over them whole service. It have particular time and spaces that, you know, it get it liquor.
Yes. So your final thoughts for us?
My final thoughts are that I think we're leaps and bounds ahead of where we used to be in what's palatable and acceptable. And I think I love that there's a balance between the older generation and the younger, trying to strike the balance between what is pure, what is holy, and still being able to make that engaging and entertaining. So if we keep making those steps forward, I think we'll all be at a good place, you know what I mean? Just keep it where it really needs to be. And, you know, big up to our Patricia. I was talking to big up our Patricia. Zine, so big up yourself. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We won't be able to survive around here. TK, your final thought.
My final thought is that I would love to see churches be a little more fun. I think that, to tell you the truth, I associate church with boring. And don't come at me, but it's my truth. It's my truth, right? Yeah. I think churches are boring, the songs are slow and them kind of lame, the topics that they are talking about sometimes, like, I want to know how to handle, like, intercourse and partying and, you know, whatever I want. That's what's interesting to me. And I feel like I wish that churches would address what's interesting and what is relevant to me more than forcing relevance upon me, if that makes sense, right? Yeah. And so I think a lot more work needs to be done on that for young people to be attracted to it.
So there are so many churches that are doing a great job out there in making the gospel relevant. But what I want to say to the old people and when lick out.
So when you touch me when you say old people then? What do you mean?
No, but you know, those people that lick out, are they being godly and graceful? And how do they, you know, does that attract who is needed to come into the very boring environment that they've obviously fostered? So, you know, I want to say my final thought is big up to the churches out there that are doing it, because there are a lot of churches that are making it relevant. Go for God, as you always told, is one of those out there. You have TLC, you have Kingdom Word and Power Liberation Church, Covenant City Church, enough for them, right? And so that's my final thought.
Yes, and my final thought, just really quickly, I remember when I just got saved, my spiritual mother said to me one day, she said, Barbie, everything that the enemy has, that God has, the enemy has a counterfeit for it, which means a counterfeit, as we know, is never as good as the original. And that literally got my brain moving and thinking that if I'm having this much fun here, just imagine how much fun I can have in the kingdom. And I am having a blast. I can tell you, my life has never been better, right? Even when I go through difficult and challenging times, it really doesn't matter. I'm having a blast. I look forward to church every Sunday, especially when this guy gets on the stage with his team, whether he's there or not, because I know we're going to and it's a good start, worship and then the word. So I would definitely say you can find a church that's there, that's for you. You can definitely find a space in a church that is out there today, that is relevant to you and to your time. So that is a wrap for the roundtable today. I thank you to my guest, John Mark and Lady TK, for joining us this morning. And please, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day. And as you go forward into the world, remember, be good and be on